ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। आप सभी का स्वागत है। आज
We welcome all of you to today's class on Śrīmad-Bhāgavata Gita. We are studying third chapter, verse 5 onwards. In the beginning of this chapter, Arjun had asked that if Buddhi Yoga is superior to Karma Yoga, then why is Bhagavan engaging him in this ghastly battle against his own family members? Arjun also said that you have it is as if you have bewildered my intelligence. Your statements are not clear. Your instructions are not clear. You are not telling me clearly whether I should fight or not fight, whether I should engage in Karma Yoga or I should take sannyas from all this and move ahead in Jnana Yoga. So in answer to that, Bhagavan spoke the verse numbers 3 and 4, and he said that there are two types of spiritual fixity in this world. he said that one is Sankhya and the other one is of Yoga. So the fixity of Sankhya is of Jnana and the one of Yoga is Karma, meaning that our nature, our Swabhava or Prakriti can be divided in broadly in two categories. One is those who are introverts and one those who are extroverts. Those who have more of rajas and tendency to perform action, and the other those who are have more of sattva and renunciation, and they have more hunger for knowledge. Their shraddha lies in knowledge. So broadly, these are the two types of spiritual fixity or nishtha. That is why his point is actually nishtha is one only. One same nishtha only can be divided in two categories because nishtha is nishtha itself, and I have explained according to that. So these two divisions have been made according to the eligibility of the practitioner, and accordingly their paths are different. And then he said that without karma you will not achieve perfection, meaning that you will not be able to achieve Naishkarmya or Brahma or Bhagavan. And the main reason for that is what Bhagavan said is that every person has the energy to perform action, and if you do not utilize that energy, then you cannot suppress it. And this is what he will also explain further. So actually, the two divisions of spiritual fixity, what he explained, now in Gita, he wants to explain that out of these two, which is superior, especially for a person like Arjuna. Because actually, what is superior is up to the eligibility of the practitioner. But mostly, people in this world, they have more inclination to perform karma. This human body in which the energy to perform action is very high. So it is natural that the person will perform karma. So when he is anyway going to perform karma, better perform in such a way that he will become elevated and not get bound in the law of karma. So this is very important what Bhagavan is instructing. And the chapters 3, 4 and 5, all these three chapters are meant to explain this only. Point is this much only, but we do not understand it so easily. Karma Yoga is very difficult to understand. And what is the reason for that? The primary reason for that is that whenever there is any talk of spirituality, then we think that spirituality must be different from what we are currently doing, because we live in this world, we live in a family. So whenever there is any talk of any spiritual path, then naturally the thought that pops up in the mind is that in spirituality means to do something different from what I'm doing currently. My dress should change, my eating habits should change, my thinking should change. Then only I'll be called spiritual. Because if I continue doing what I'm doing now, then everybody is already spiritualist. So we always have this thought in mind, although we may not think about it very clearly, but in a subtle way at the background, this thought process always continues in our mind. So for us, spirituality is to do something different from what we are currently. Become a sannyasi, shave the head, carry a danda in the hand. Then you will feel that yes, this person is a spiritualist. But if you are situated in your home, working in the job, with a family, then people will think what kind of spirituality is this? Because this is what everyone is already doing. Because Karma Yoga is like this only. There is no prescription to go anywhere out of home in Karma Yoga to live in a temple or an ashram. There is no such prescription in Karma Yoga. So that is why people do not understand that how can this be Karma Yoga. And then if understanding Karma Yoga is so difficult, then understanding Bhakti is far more difficult. Because in bhakti there is no such prescription that you have to leave anything and go anywhere else. So mainly there are two paths, pravritti and nivritti. Jnana yoga is the path of nivritti, the path of renunciation, and the pravritti is to perform action. So one is you can become a spiritualist by performing action, and one is by giving up action. So the path of giving up action, that is easy to relatively easier to understand. People think that he has become a sadhu. So if you have not worn red or saffron cloth, if you are wearing white, then people think what kind of a sadhu is he? Because even a grihastha wears white color dress. That is why there is a lot of value attached to wearing red or saffron cloth. So sadhu should appear different. Sadhu should do something different. Otherwise, people do not think of him as sadhu, because sadhu means he should have something different, either just live on milk once a day or have a long beard. So this is how people, these are the external symptoms of sadhu in public. But these external symptoms can be owned by anybody. Anybody can dress himself as a sadhu. But spiritual path is actually an internal change. The what is to be changed is our mentality, is our thought process. And along with mentality, if you need to change something externally just for convenience, that is all right. But the main thing is to bring internal change. External change is very easy. You can grow your beard or shave your head, wear some different color cloth from what people wear generally in public. Even yellow appears nice. Nowadays, it's fashion of wearing yellow color. So wear something different, blue, yellow, black, red. Red is very nice. It glows from a long distance. So people wearing such dresses, they appear as sadhus. So in Gita, Bhagavan has not defined sadhu like this, that what color of dress you should wear, what you should appear like. The whole focus is on changing your mentality, because if your mentality is not changing, no matter how many dresses you change, there will be no result. So the change has to be brought in the mind. Internal change is required. So that Bhagwan's emphasis is on internal change. That is what we have to understand, and that is very difficult to understand, because gross substances can be seen with the naked eye, but subtle things cannot be seen. Mentality is something subtle. We cannot see that easily. You are working, you are going for a job, you are a bhakta or a karma yogi, and the other person who is not a spiritualist, he is also going for job. How do you differentiate between both? Both are wearing similar dress, working in the same office. So the difference is in mentality, but that cannot be seen. That is why we cannot understand that clearly. And Bhagavan is trying to explain that only here. Actually, he will keep explaining this till the end also.
क्या आपने समझा, कुछ सुना?
So Bhagavan will ask that, did you understand what I said? If you have any doubt, tell me. So for this reason, here Bhagavan has placed lot of emphasis on Karma Yoga. What is the reason? The reason is that we all have Kriya Shakti within us. We have the energy of performing action. And out of lakhs of people, there may be some 2 3 people who are actually renounced, who are actually having the eligibility for living a renounced life. And especially in Kali Yuga, the number is even less. So this has to be understood properly. Otherwise, you see, you read in newspaper reports what is the condition of sannyasis today in Kali Yuga. So why does that situation happen? Bhagavan will explain that in the next verse. What Bhagavan is telling, that is exactly what happens in the society. You go anywhere, any spiritual institution, you will see all this going on. So that proves that people do not study Gita properly. So in this verse,
कार्यते हि वसः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः। वस्तुतः कोई
Translation:
भी व्यक्ति
Indeed, no one
एक क्षण
can
भी
ever remain
एक
even for a moment without performing
प्रकृति
action,
जन्य गुण
because everyone
एक
is
व्यक्ति को
impelled
असहाय
to act
रहने
helplessly
के लिए
by the
मजबूर
gunas
करता
born of Prakriti or material
है।
nature.
एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण बात भगवान यहाँ पर कह
So
रहे हैं
Bhagavan is telling a very, very
कि
important
आपके
point,
पास अगर ये भौतिक शरीर है
that if you have this
और भौतिक
material
शरीर जो
body
है वो तीन गुणों से
and
बना हुआ है,
this material body is
तो
made of three
प्रकृति आपको
gunas,
कर्म कराएगी
then
ही।
Prakriti or material nature
प्रकृति
will
के जो तीन
force you
गुण हैं
helplessly to
एक
perform
जैसे
action,
अपने गुण हैं,
because
सत्व से ज्ञान आता है, सत्व
because
रजस्तम
sattva
से ज्ञान आता है,
has its
सत्व
guna
गुण
of giving knowledge.
प्रमाद मोह तमसो भवतो ज्ञानम एवं च। तो प्रकृति के जो तीन हैं गुण हैं सत्व रजस और
So
तमस,
the three gunas of Prakriti, that is sattva, rajas, and tamas. According to that, we have
ये
our
बहुत सारे
our
शास्त्रों में है।
inclinations, and
किसी
we all
किसी
have
में
these three gunas.
आधिक्य है, किसी में दूसरे का आधिक्य
Only
है।
thing is that different people have
तो
predominance of different
जिसमें
gunas,
सत्व
but
गुण है
everyone
उसमें
has all the
सीखने की
three.
प्रवृत्ति आती है कि आदमी
So
को
sattva
सीखने
gun
की इच्छा होती
brings
है
knowledge,
और वैसा
desire
करने
for
का
knowledge,
तरीका,
and renunciation.
और वो बहुत कम है आजकल।
And very few
बहुत सारे
people
लोग
are
सोचते हैं।
like that in this world
और
who have that hunger for
रजस
knowledge.
लोभ है, रज से आता
And
लोभ,
what about rajas?
लोभ
Rajas
करने की
brings
प्रवृत्ति,
greed and
जो
the
भगवान यहाँ पर कह रहे
inclination
हैं।
to perform action.
और
What Bhagavan
तीसरा
is explaining here.
जिससे
And the third is
तमस जिससे मोह
tamas,
अज्ञानम,
which brings moha or
तो
bewilderment
उससे आगे
and ignorance.
लेकिन वो ना करना भी
So
कर्म है,
that leads to
वो भी
laziness.
एक क्रिया है।
But not performing action is also an action. Like if you are sleeping, you may think that I am not performing an action, but sleeping
बैठे
itself
हैं
is also an
मन
action.
में तो
If
बैठे
you
हैं,
are sitting thinking that I am not doing
तो
anything, but
हम
sit,
अपनी
sitting is also an
वासनाओं
action.
के वशीभूत हैं,
So we are all
हम अपने
under the control of our
कर्मों के
vasanas or
वशीभूत हैं, अपने स्वभाव के वशीभूत हैं, अपने गुणों के
the
वशीभूत हैं।
action
कर्म
performing
करने के
senses, the knowledge acquiring
तो
senses, we
कर्म
all are
करने
under
के
their control.
स्वतंत्र
And
नहीं
as
है।
long as we are under their control, we do not have the freedom
क्रिया दो
to give
प्रकार
up
की हैं, एक तो
action.
जो हम
So
स्वतः
action
से
is of
करते
two
हैं
types. One is
और
what we
दूसरी
do
जो
with our
क्रियाएं
will,
हैं
and the other
जब हम
is
सोते
what
हैं
keeps happening
सोने के
automatically.
समय भी
Like
हमारा
when we are
श्वास
sleeping,
चलता रहता
then
है,
our breathing
हमारा
continues,
रक्त शरीर में घूमता रहता
our
है,
blood circulation continues in the
खून
body,
रिसता रहता है,
our food digestion
जीवन में
keeps
संचार
happening in
होता
the
रहता है।
body, our
तो ये
the
क्रियाएं चल
urges
रही हैं,
for passing stool and
तो
urine,
आप कह
that
रहे
also
हैं कि मैं
continues in the
कर्म नहीं कर
body.
रहा हूँ,
So we may
ये आप
say
जो भी
that we are
करते
not
हैं वो तो
performing this
स्वतः से
action,
करते हैं ना।
but how can we say we are not
उसमें पूछते
performing?
हैं
Because
कि
when
आप
we
कौन
ask
है,
you, who are you? You said, I am this
तो
body.
आपका
I
उत्तर जो
am
भी होगा वो
you,
आपका
whatever
शरीर
is
ही
your
है,
answer, which is all related to the body only. You say that this is
वो
me.
आपका शरीर ही है।
So that is your body
यदि
only.
आप अपने को शरीर मानते हैं
So if you are considering
तो इसमें
yourself as the
स्थूल शरीर और
body, and in this
सूक्ष्म शरीर दोनों
and the
शामिल हैं, दोनों आप
the
मानते हैं,
body means both the
तो उसका
gross and the
उत्तर जो
subtle
भी होगा
body,
जिसकी वो आपकी
then the
क्रिया है,
action which is happening in that body is your action or somebody else's
तो
action.
इसलिए आप चाहे जागृत अवस्था में
So
हैं,
whether
चाहे
you are
स्वप्न
in
अवस्था में हैं,
awake,
चाहे
or
सुषुप्ति
you are in the
अवस्था में
state
हैं,
of dream,
चाहे
or
मूर्छित
you are in the
अवस्था
state
में
of
हैं,
dreamless
ये चार
sleep,
अवस्थाएं
or even
जीवन में
unconscious,
हमारे अनुभव में आती हैं।
generally we
इन
experience
सारी
these four
अवस्थाओं में
states.
जितनी भी
So in
क्रियाएं
all
हो
the four
रही हैं,
states, whatever actions are there, they are all yours
उसमें जब
only.
आप
You are
मौन अवस्था
performing
में हैं,
them.
जैसे कुछ लोग जो हैं
And
वो
if you are in the state of
बहुत लंबी नींद में चले जाते
unconsciousness,
हैं जिसको कोमा
like
बोलते हैं,
some people get into the state of
तो
coma,
मैंने
which
देखा
is
है एक व्यक्ति
an
को,
unconscious state for
मैंने
a
छह
long
महीने
time.
देखा,
I saw one person who was in the
तो
state of
वो वैसे
coma
ही बस
for 6 months.
ऐसे बैठा हुआ था,
So he was just sitting
आंखें बंद, लेकिन उसकी
with
सांस चल
closed
रही थी,
eyes, but his breathing was continuing, was eating
खाना भी
also,
खिलाते हैं,
he was being fed
उसको बाहर का कुछ पता नहीं,
also, but he had no consciousness
केवल
of
उसका
whatever was
जो
external to him.
जीवित जीवित था और जी
So
रहा
he
था,
was also living and his action was continuing.
हालांकि बाहर का संसार का उसको कुछ चेतना नहीं
Although
थी।
he did not have external consciousness, no awareness of external surroundings,
इसका मतलब हमारे अंदर, जैसे आप शास्त्र
but
में पढ़ते
then
हैं कि हमारे अंदर
how
एक
was he
वासना
continuing
है,
to
एक
live?
इच्छा, इसको
So as we
कहते हैं
study in
ऐशना।
Shastra, we have
शास्त्रों
this
में
ichha in us.
वासनाएं बहुत
There
हैं,
are three types of desire or
तीन
ashna in
प्रकार की
us,
हैं, जीव
which
ऐशना,
are
वित्त ऐशना,
primary,
पुत्र ऐशना।
which is of Jiva,
आजकल पुत्र उत्र छोड़िए,
Vitta, and Putra.
लेकिन
Nowadays, you can ignore the desire for Putra or son and all.
केवल इच्छा है।
But two desires, that is Jiva and Vitta,
तो
the desire to
जीवित
live
अवस्था में
and
है
the desire to earn wealth,
जीव ऐशना
that
है,
is there.
तो वो जीवित
So the person who has no awareness of external surrounding, he still has that desire to live. Because if he does not have any desire to live, that person will die.
जो है वो हमारे कर्म के अनुसार है,
And
जब
that
तक उसका
Jiva, the desire to live, is according to karma. As long as our prarabdha continues, we will continue to have that desire to live.
जब हम चेतन अवस्था में रहते हैं तो अनेक प्रकार की इच्छाएं आती हैं, तो वो भी
When we
हमारी
are
पुरानी वासनाओं के अनुसार,
in the Chaitanya state,
पुराने कर्म के अनुसार आते हैं।
we have this desire to live.
देखते हैं उसकी इच्छा हो जाती
We have these vasanas which come according to our karma.
है, तो एक प्रकार की इच्छा नहीं होती,
Every person doesn't have same desire. Why there are differences in desires?
भिन्न भिन्न है।
That is because our karmas, our vasanas are different.
जीव वासना भी तो एक हमारी इच्छा
So we are bound by them. So Jiva, the desire to live, that is also there. That is in a person who is unconscious also. One who is in the state of sushupti or dreamless sleep, it is there in him also. So it proves that whatever actions are going on in our body in the state of dreamless sleep or in an unconscious state, that is also ours only.
इसलिए भगवान कहते हैं कि नहीं
That's why Bhagavan is telling
जातु तिष्ठत्या कर्म कृत, कि किसी भी समय,
that at any time,
जातु मतलब किसी भी समय,
Jatu means in any time,
जागृत स्वप्न
it may be
किसी भी समय,
awake, state of being awake or dream
क्योंकि महाप्रलय
or
आपके पास
dreamless sleep. Should not consider Mahapralaya here because that time we don't have that body only.
उसकी
So how
बात
can there be
और
action?
उसकी बात
So he is not talking of that here and there is no reason to talk about that.
संसार में
So now that we are in this world
बद्धावस्था में
and we are in the conditioned
किसी भी
state,
समय, जातु का मतलब है किसी भी
so
समय,
Jatu meaning in any time,
भर के लिए भी,
even for not even for a moment.
कश्चित माने किसी का भी,
Kashchit means nobody,
यानी कि जो मुक्त है,
any person,
जीवन मुक्त बोलते हैं,
even if that person is a Jivan Mukta, because there are two persons in this world, one those who are conditioned called Baddha and one those who are liberated but still in this body, those who are Jivan Mukta.
अपना कर्तापन ना माने, लेकिन
So although they do not have the sense of doership in their actions, but still actions are happening. They also feel hungry, they also eat food,
भी सोते हैं, वो भी चलते
they also sleep, they also walk, they also wake up, they also sit.
पलक झपकना भी तो काम है, आप चुपचाप बैठे हो तो आप कुछ कर रहे हो,
So when you are sitting just normally closing eyelids, that is also an action. That's why Bhagavan is telling that not even for a moment, no person can live without performing action.
कर्म के बगैर नहीं होता है, और वो केवल ये
Nobody is without action.
क्रिया और कर्म में अंतर होता है,
So there is a difference between kriya and karma.
जड़ पदार्थ में भी होती है,
Kriya is there in even in inert matter, but karma is only for a living person.
वास्तव में हमारा जीवन कर्म है,
So it proves that our life is karma.
कर्म है तो जीवन है, और कर्म नहीं है तो
If there is karma, there is life. If there is no karma, there is no life. And if there is life, there is karma. And if there is no life, there is no karma.
समस्या क्या है कि ये जो कर्म
But the
है,
problem is that this karma, it happens helplessly.
इसके ऊपर कोई वश नहीं है,
We do not have any control over it.
जैसे बहुत लोग पूछते हैं ना कि फ्री विल,
Like many people ask this question about free will. This is a very common question.
भारतीय संस्कृति में कोई फ्री विल जैसा कोई शब्द यहाँ है नहीं,
Actually, in our Indian culture, there is no such word as free will.
जड़ से उखाड़
And here, Bhagavan has uprooted that concept of free will completely.
अवशः कर्म,
He is telling karyate avashah karma. Karyate hi avashah karma. That means it is not in your vasha, it is not in your control.
छोड़ दीजिए आप,
Then forget about any free will. Nobody is free. There is no free will. As long as you are under the clutches of material energy, where is the question of free will?
से पैदा होते हैं,
So, the gunas which are born of Prakriti, by those gunas, all karmas are being performed without the performer having any control over them. That means one is kriyate.
मेरे द्वारा किया जाता है,
Kriyate means maya kriyate, I am done by me. And here it is not kriyate, here it is karyate. Karyate means it is being done by us.
के लिए,
Somebody is getting it done by us.
और 18वें
Like we are helpless in performing that. And at the end of 18th chapter also Bhagavan will speak.
कर्मणा नेचसी अन्मोहात करिष्यसि अवशोपि तत्, वही शब्द 18वें अध्याय में भगवान ने किया अवश्य.
So in 18th chapter also Bhagavan will say avasha,
बंधे हुए हैं।
that you are bound by your swabhava.
स्वभाव जैन कौनते निबद्ध स्वेन कर्मणा, और वो आपने कर्म के अनुसार, तो जिसको आप इच्छा नहीं करते हैं तो भी करेंगे
So
उसको।
what you don't desire, you will do that also.
ना योत्सीति, वो जो कहते हैं कि मैं युद्ध नहीं करूंगा, तो कहते हैं ये केवल
So when
आप-
Arjun says that I will not fight, Bhagavan says that this is all false statements that you are speaking.
ये तुम्हारा मिथ्या निश्चय है कि तुम युद्ध नहीं करोगे, तो
This
तुम्हारी
is
प्रकृति
a
तुमसे
false
करवा लेगी।
determination because Prakriti will anyway get it done by you. Prakriti will force you to engage in the war.
कि
So this has to be understood properly,
कर्म जो है
that how
वो हमको बांध के रखता है,
karma binds us.
और चाहे आप संन्यास ले लें तो भी कर्म करेंगे, और आजकल तो
Even if you
सन्यासी
take sannyas, you will do karma. And nowadays sannyasis do even much more karma.
5 दिन ऑफिस जाएगा, 2 दिन
Grihastha will go to office,
महंत है, महाराज
may have 2 days holiday, but the month of Maharaj or sannyasi, whole day and night they are engaged in karma, make disciples, make temples, make mathas. They don't have any holiday.
वो ज्यादा काम करता है, निवृत्ति वाला
So they work even. So nowadays the people in Nivritti Marga are doing more karma.
इसलिए कर्म ना करना ये तो संभव नहीं है, लेकिन मनुष्य की रुचि रहती है कि मेरे को कर्म ना करना पड़े।
So not performing karma is not possible, but everybody has an inclination. Every person thinks that when I have lot of money, what will I do? I will not do any work.
काम कराऊंगा, यही करते हैं ना।
I will make others to work. I will just go for vacations and enjoy. But there also you will work
करना ही पड़ेगा।
because you have to do some action.
तो आध्यात्मिक वाले जो हैं वो संन्यास लेना चाहते हैं, और भौतिक समाज वाले क्या है, उन्होंने दूसरा तरीका निकाला काम करने का।
So the people on spiritual path, they want to take sannyas, and the people on the path of pravritti, they do not want to work. They just want to manufacture machines so that they do not have to work. Let machines do all the work. Earlier you used to wash clothes by your hands. Now there is washing machine. Now you have even have machine robots for wiping the cleaning the floor.
तो उसकी मशीन
Nowadays there are machines even for making rotis, even for kneading the dough.
तो हर चीज की मशीन आ गई ना।
So nowadays there is a machine for each and every action. Even for massage there is a machine.
तो साइंस भी जो है वो संन्यास देना चाह रही है आपको,
So science is also trying to give you sannyas.
भी संन्यास देना चाह रहे हैं।
Spiritualists are also trying to give sannyas. But both of them are not listening to what Bhagavan is telling.
होने वाला नहीं।
Bhagavan is telling your sannyas and all will not work. You will have to work.
इतनी मशीन
Your sannyas will not give any result. So now that there are machines, people have become busier. When there were no machines, people had lot of time.
मशीन आई है तब से
And since there are lot of machines, nobody has got any time.
लेकिन संन्यास
Like Grihast has got time, but Sannyasi does not have any time.
इसी प्रकार से जब मशीन नहीं थी तब लोगों के पास समय था
Similarly,
सब बैठ
when there were no machines, people had so much time to sit and talk.
से किसी के पास टाइम,
And now that there are machines, people don't have time.
डोंट वेस्ट माय टाइम। तो ये बड़ा आश्चर्य है,
So this is a great wonder.
सिद्ध करता है भगवान की बात
It proves what Bhagavan is telling,
को आपको करना ही पड़ेगा।
that you will be bound to work. If you try to escape from work, you will end up doing even more work.
इसको समझ के करो,
So when you anyway have to work, then work with the proper understanding.
तो वो समझ के करने वाला बात जो है उसी को भगवान यहाँ पर कहते हैं।
So that is what Bhagavan is emphasizing here, to work with the proper understanding. That working is compulsory. You cannot ever escape from work, because we all have this doubt that why should we work? We should give it up. We all have this deep rooted inclination to give up work. But you cannot give up work.
जो
You cannot escape from working. Escaping from work means basically what others are forcing you to work. You don't want to do that. You want to work by your inclination, which is called a hobby.
पानी वानी दो, कुछ लगाओ, तो आप
If somebody tells you give some water in the garden, but in your own home you will do that.
अच्छा से कर रहे हो।
So where you do that in your own home, you feel as if you are working by your own desire, but actually that is also not by your desire. Prakriti is forcing you to do it. And when Prakriti forces you to do some work, that is called hobby. When some other person forces you to do that, you do not like that. When Prakriti forces you to do, you feel as if you are working by your desire, you are not being forced, but actually you are being forced. Earlier people used to work 7 days a week, then there was Sunday holiday, now there is system of 2 days holiday, work only for 5 days. So those 2 days which are holidays, in those 2 days actually people do even more work. When you are on a weekday, you are driving to office 10-15 kilometers, whatever. But on the holiday, you will drive for 50 kilometers to go to the beach. You have to go to some picnic resort. Then you will drive for 200 kilometers. And there will be traffic jam on the highway. On the holiday, there will be even more traffic jam. So people work even more on the holidays. And then they become tired. That is why Bhagavan is telling that anyway, if you have to work, why not work with the proper understanding? Bhagavan never says in Gita that you give up karma by swarupa as it is completely. What is to be given up is not karma. What is to be given up is the attachment to the karma. So what you cannot give up, if you do that, then you will get into trouble only. And what you can renounce, if you do not renounce that, then also you will get into trouble. So this is the problem in human life, that what human being cannot give up, human being is trying to give it up. Whether it is spiritual or material, what you cannot give up, you're trying to give it up, and what you can give up, you are holding on to that. You think that I cannot give it up. So this is the foolishness, this is the ignorance, and this is the cause of dukkha. This is why Gita is a very important shastra, and it is very important to understand it properly. So Gita teaches us the art of performing karma, that how we should perform karma such that we do not get bound to that, because we anyway have to perform karma. We are helpless in performing action. So why not do it happily? Why do it being morose and depressed? So that is what Bhagavan is discussing here. And those who want to give up karma, Bhagavan is criticizing them, because that person is trying to do something in which he will never become successful. This is what we have to understand properly. So until and unless you perform karma, your intelligence will not become purified. As what he told in the previous verse, that the state of nashkarmya will not be attained by you if you do not perform karma. We also see in this world that those who are born in rich families, they do not have much problems in their life. They have lot of wealth. Not all, but generally the rich people who have lot of money, their children think that we don't have to do anything. So they don't get any experience in life. They do not understand the tattva of this life, of relationships. They do not experience that, because our intelligence becomes purified by dealings. When we deal with people, then we learn a lot. When we live in ashram, when we deal with others, then we get to learn a lot. If we just remain seated in our room not talking to anybody, then what are we going to learn? That is why without performing karma, our buddhi, our intelligence will remain in a weak state. It will become weak. And if we continue performing karma without buddhi, without intelligence, then that karma will also be weak, and it may even be self-destructive. It may be dangerous. So we have to perform karma, and we have to do it with intelligence. That is why Bhagavan is teaching Bhagavad Gita.
सोचा ही ना
So if we do not even think
करते जाएं
and keep performing action,
तो वो कर्म हमें क्या फल देगा, क्या
then
मिलेगा, क्या
what
नहीं
result
मिलेगा,
will
कुछ पता
be
नहीं।
incurred by that karma?
नहीं जा
We
सकते
do
हैं।
not know what may happen. It may be go in vain, it may be even dangerous for us.
हम चिंतन तो
And
बहुत करें लेकिन कुछ
if we just keep on thinking,
कुछ लोग
contemplating, but don't perform any action, then what is the use of that? This is like people who are just living in a dream
लीला स्मरण,
in the name of Leela Smaran.
तो केवल बस बैठ के चिंतन ही करते रहना,
Just remain seated and
कुछ नहीं।
keep thinking and not performing any tangible action.
उससे भी कुछ मिलता नहीं है।
So you won't achieve anything by that also. There are many people like this who do like this. They keep coming here, meeting me. So when they come and I meet them, they always present some new plan of changing the whole world.
बहुत लोग हैं जो दुनिया को बदलना चाहते
So
हैं,
nowadays there are many people who want to change the world. They make such big plans, but they don't have any plan for changing themselves.
क्योंकि दुनिया
Their plans also keep changing because the world is also changing.
हर समय नई योजना,
So always they have a new plan.
तो वैसा चिंतन भी व्यर्थ है।
So that type of contemplation is also in vain.
इसलिए हमको कर्म
That is why we have to perform karma with the right understanding.
है, वो कर्म योग है
And this is called karma yoga.
कि हम कर्म किस प्रकार करें कि
That
हमारा
how to perform action such that we do not become bound in that.
हमारी उससे शुद्धि हो,
And
शुद्धि हो,
it purifies our intelligence.
वासना, कामनाएं,
And what is the fault in buddhi? That is these vasanas, these desires.
काम कर्म योग,
That is why
भगवान उसके
Bhagavan is talking of Nishkam Karma Yoga.
सो कृपणः फल हेतवः, तो जो फल है के हेतु के लिए
Motive, Bhagavan addresses them as Kripana,
तो इसलिए
misers.
ऐसे कर्म को दूर से छोड़,
That is why give up this karma from a far distance.
जो सकाम कर्म जिससे स्वर्ग की
So
प्राप्ति,
Sakam Karma, which leads to heaven,
भगवान उसकी भी भगवान
Bhagavan criticizes that also.
वाचम प्रवदन्ति मनीषिणः, तो अमनीषी लोग हैं।
Bhagavan calls them as amanishi.
इसके बाद में फिर
They do not think properly. Now the next verse.
कि कुछ लोग सोचते हैं कि कर्म के कारण
Some
बंधन
people
होता है,
think that bondage is due to karma.
तो हम कर्म
Then why not give up karma itself?
तो कर्मेंद्रियाणि संयम यास्ते मनसा स्मरन् इंद्रियार्थान विमूढ़ात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते। जो मनुष्य
Translation: a person who outwardly restrains the organs of action and the cognitive sense faculties as well, but who dwells internally upon the recollection of sense objects, is of deluded intellect and is called a hypocrite.
जिसने कर्म करके बुद्धि को शुद्ध नहीं किया और
So
पहले ही
this is the person who has not purified his intelligence
करने की प्रवृत्ति
by karma and
और उसके अंदर
prematurely given up karma. So those vasanas won't go away, the desires won't go away. So he just externally makes a show.
यानी कि बाहरी संन्यास,
Outwardly he has taken sannyas, but internally he has no renunciation. Then what will that person do? Then in mind he will keep having those thoughts, recollections of sense enjoyment.
जैसे लोग जब
Because outwardly if you are not performing action, then inwardly your mind will go very fast, like we experienced during japa. Because during japa externally we are not performing much action, because then that kriya shakti which was being used for external senses, now it goes to the inward antakaran and it makes it run very fast.
ऐसा व्यवहार जो है वो मिथ्याचार,
So this kind of behavior is hypocrisy.
इसको बोलते हैं।
What is mithya? Mithya is that which is neither sat nor asat.
दोनों का खिचड़ी जो पक जाता है,
It's kind of some mixture.
या रस्सी में सर्प देख,
Or you can say like seeing snake in a rope, that is also called mithya.
लेकिन दिखती है।
What is not present, you see that.
तो वेदांत, अद्वैत वेदांत में मिथ्या उसी को बोलते
In
हैं।
Advaita Vedanta, that is called mithya, what is neither sat nor asat.
तो सर्प भी नहीं है,
So it is neither snake, it is also not that there is nothing, because something is there.
नहीं तो सब कैसे देखेगा?
Otherwise, how are you seeing snake?
तो इसलिए
So
वो
that is
सत है
mithya.
क्योंकि वो कर्मेंद्रियों को रोक के बैठा
So why
है,
is this person not Sat? Because he is
रोक के बैठा
restraining the
है,
external
सत्य ही है,
senses.
लेकिन
So what he is
अंतर्मुख से
restraining, that is
हाँ
true.
सत्य है इसलिए
But
वो कर रहा
actually,
है
his the Vega,
वही
the internal force has not gone away.
कि
So that is why he is called a mithyachar, a
पता नहीं
hypocrite.
चलता है कि इसका दिमाग इधर है कि
Because
उधर है।
for such a person, you can't understand where his mind is actually lying.
तो वो
So he
मिथ्याचार
is a split personality. So this is a mithyachar.
आजकल बहुत चलता है,
So nowadays, this is very
आध्यात्मिक जगत
common.
में तो ये बहुत ज्यादा चलता है
In the spiritual path, this is this hypocrisy is extremely common.
मेरा कोई
But this may sound very harsh to us, but this is what Bhagavan is speaking.
कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं है।
I have not manufactured this
आजकल
term
वो
or
नहीं
this
है
verse. This is what
जिनकी
Bhagavan is
योग्यता
speaking.
नहीं है, वो
So
अपने
nowadays, what is happening is
सन्यास की
people who are not qualified,
छोटी अवस्था
they
में
take
लेते हैं, लेकिन
sannyas
कुछ उससे
in
बड़े
a
वर्ग
young age or old
और
age,
वो लोग
doesn't make
सन्यास
any
ले रहे हैं
difference. They have taken
और
sannyas
सन्यास की योग्यता है नहीं,
and they do not have the
तो बाहर
qualification
से
for
तो उनको दिखाना
sannyas.
ही पड़ेगा कि मैं
So
सन्यासी
externally,
हूँ,
they have to show that I am a
तो उनकी
sannyasi.
निंदा होगी,
Otherwise, they will be criticized in the society.
उनको
People around them,
कुदृष्टि
they
से
will
देखेंगे, आदर
they
नहीं
will
करेंगे,
deride them. They will disrespect
लेकिन
such a
अंदर जो
sannyasi.
है वो उनकी वासना
But
भरी हुई है,
internally,
दबाएंगे
they are
नहीं,
full of vasanas and they always keep trying
दबाने
to
से
suppress them.
मिथ्याचार होगा, क्योंकि
So
जिसको
when they
दबा के
keep
रखेंगे
trying to suppress them, then that will be mithyachar.
तो जैसे
Because how long will you keep
किसी को
suppressing?
आप दबाएं, हाथ में मानो आप ले लें कोई
Like if you take some sponge
गुब्बारा ही ले लें
or some, let's say, balloon,
उसको एक उंगली से दबाएं तो वो
and
कहीं और
if
जाएगा,
you press it
प्रेशर
one
बढ़ेगा
side,
उसका,
then it will lead to extra pressure on some other side.
मीड़ा हुआ आटा ले लें उसको दबाएं
If you take dough and if you
उसको
compress it with your
उसमें
in
ज़्यादा
your
प्रेशर
hand, in
लगेगा
your
तो आटा
palm,
निकलेगा,
then the dough will come out of
तो
your
इसलिए वो
from
कहीं
the
कहीं
middle of
निकलेगा,
your
अगर
fingers.
आप उसको
So
छिपाना
somewhere it will
चाहें
come out.
तो
So
ये
if you try to suppress, it will come out from some other place. Nowadays, it is becoming very common in TV, videos, news,
वही कर दिया उसने,
that this sannyasi did like this or that sannyasi did that.
पहले
So why
ऐसा
is
नहीं
this
था,
happening? Earlier,
अगर आप
there was no such behavior in sannyasis.
पहले लोग
If
इसको
you
ध्यान
study
से
the
सन्यास
history of
लेते थे,
India earlier, this did not
सन्यासी
happen. Why?
ब्राह्मण
Because
लोग थे,
people did not take sannyas like this. Earlier, only Brahmanas used to take sannyas.
सन्यास आश्रम में
According to Varnashram, only Brahman
अब
is
इसका मतलब ये
eligible
नहीं
to
है कि
take
सब
sannyas.
ब्राह्मण नहीं है,
And
लेकिन
that
बहुत
Brahman
से
is also not just a born
ब्राह्मण नहीं
Brahman,
बोले
is
सकते,
also a Brahman by
लेकिन जो
karma.
वास्तव में ज्ञान निष्ठ था, वैरागी था,
Point is that
जिसकी
one who was
वासनाएं
actually
समाप्त हो
having
चुकी
the
थी,
feeling of renunciation, whose vasanas were gone
तो
away,
इसलिए ज्यादा
such a
सन्यासी
person only was qualified to take sannyas.
ज्यादा
That's why there
सन्यासी
were very, very few sannyasis
बुद्ध
earlier.
महाराज ने चलाया,
So this whole flood of sannyasis was brought by Buddha.
उससे पहले ऐसा भारत में
He
नहीं था,
made
इस
a
पूरे
lot
विश्व
of
में,
people as sannyasis, both the
बुद्ध जो
bhikshus.
है उन्होंने
Before
सब
that, there was no such flood of sannyasis. And because Buddha himself had given up Varnashram, so he made his own system.
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि, बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि, धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि, तो उसके अनुसार फिर ये समाज में आ गया, फिर हिंदुओं
So
ने भी
because
देखा,
of that, this flood came in the Indian
आज तो
society
बड़ी
and
दयनीय
people caught
स्थिति
on
है,
to that. So
सब
today
लोग
the situation in the
बोलते हैं
spiritual
कि
field is
गुरु
very
की
bad.
आवश्यकता नहीं है,
That's why many people say that there is no need for guru.
इसका
Gurus
कारण
are like
ये
this,
है
gurus are like that. So what is the reason for
कि
that?
उसके अंदर
That is
योग्यता नहीं
because
है
the person who is not qualified
और वो
to be a
करना
guru,
चाहता
to
है,
be a
इस पद
sannyasi,
को उसने ग्रहण कर
and
लिया है,
but he has taken
तो
that
दूसरे लोग
position of guru.
उससे व्यथित होते हैं जब
And the
देखते हैं
other
कि इसको
people,
गुरु
they get into distress, they fall into distress when
इसका
they
जो रूप
hear
कार्य
about
है वो
the
आचरण
reality of such a person, that
इसके अनुसार नहीं है, अपने
his
मन के अनुसार
actions, his behavior, his dealings are not
उसको
actually according to his status of
वो क्रोध
sannyasi
क्यों आता है,
or guru.
और अब तो ये
So then they
प्रचलित है,
faces lot of
छोटे
criticism.
छोटे बच्चे 10 साल का
And
बच्चा भी
nowadays, so this system
ऐसे
has come up that even 10-year-old kids are becoming gurus.
जिनका कोई अध्ययन नहीं, कुछ
Those
नहीं,
who have not studied
बोलना
anything,
सीख लिया
little bit they have learnt how to talk,
और थोड़ी इधर उधर की बातें याद कर ली,
and little bit here and there they have just
ज्ञान
learned
के बारे में
something.
कुछ जानता नहीं है,
Because nowadays the ordinary average person has zero understanding of spirituality. Earlier, even the ordinary average person had knowledge of spirituality. So if you just go to him and he asks you a question and you cannot answer
कोई
that,
आम व्यक्ति भी
he'll
पढ़ता
tell,
है
get lost from here.
शास्त्रों में,
But nowadays nobody has any knowledge of spiritual
व्यक्ति का होना
books.
चाहिए,
So that's why you learn little bit, and main thing, you should have the art of
बहुत
public
अच्छी बात है,
speaking.
उनकी तो
So
सिद्धि है।
nowadays this is going on, and such
लेकिन
people are very becoming very famous. But this won't continue for long.
और उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, एक बार आपकी
But these people
बातें
don't care
चलती रहती,
because
प्रचार
they
होता
have got
रहता
their
है, लोग
crowd.
आगे
Let other people
बढ़ते
leave us
रहते हैं,
because we are being
इसने ऐसा
criticized,
किया,
but
उसने
more
ऐसा
people are
किया,
joining also.
फिर आपस में उसकी
And then all these debates will
डिबेट
go
हो
on.
जाएगी,
This will
दो
continue.
पक्ष हो जाएंगे,
There will be two
और
parties, the Wadi and the
न्याय
Prativadi,
जो है
and then Nyaya debates will go on in
ये
the
चलता है।
television,
पहले
media.
भारत में ऐसा नहीं था,
So earlier, this
सन्यासी
all this
होते थे,
never happened in
और
India.
जो सन्यासी होते थे वो बड़े
The
पंडित होते थे,
sannyasis, they were extremely learned and very highly educated,
के कारण पढ़ाने
and
की मंडली
their main job was to
है, उसको
teach. They used to have mandalis where they just taught the
सन्यासी होता है,
students.
उसके साथ में 10-12
So
विद्यार्थी
now still
विद्यार्थी
there is
होते हैं, उसकी
some
मंडली चलती है,
sannyasis, they go somewhere and
सन्यासी
10,
परिवार,
15,
तो
20
जहाँ भी
students, they go with this sannyasi
मंदिर वंदिर होते
wherever
हैं
they
मठ
go.
वठ,
They sannyasis never made any temples or mathas
वहाँ
earlier.
से डेरा डाल दिया,
They just went to some
कहीं
village,
कोई मंदिर
they
है
sat under trees in some
और
place, or there is some
सुबह
temple in
शाम
the
चले
village,
जाएंगे,
or temporarily the villagers gave them place in that
वहाँ
temple.
मिल जाएंगे,
So
कथा
10,
सुनते
15
रहेंगे,
days they stay there, they give
तो इस प्रकार
some,
चलता
they
है।
teach the villagers there, and they move on to another
ऐसा कुछ
location.
नहीं,
They never had any such attachment
तो
of
अब
just
ये
staying in one place.
मिथ्याचार बहुत फैल गया है कलयुग में,
So
कलयुग आने
nowadays
से
in Kali Yuga, this mithyachar, this hypocrisy has
इसका
spread
मतलब
everywhere.
जो इस प्रकार का
So
आचरण करता है
actually,
वो अपने
those who actually deal like this, they are deluding themselves only.
क्योंकि उसको स्वयं पता होती है कि मैं जो कर रहा
That
हूँ
person, he knows that what I am
स्वयं को
doing is
उसका ज्ञान
wrong.
होता है
That much knowledge is there in them.
कि
They do
मेरे
understand
कार्य,
what we are doing is wrong.
मेरे
Our behavior, our
आचरण
dealings are wrong. They do not match with the
मेरे
dress
अनुरूप
what
नहीं
I
है,
am wearing, or they do not match with the status I have
उसको
acquired
भी
of a guru.
मन में इस प्रकार की एक भावना आती है, लेकिन
So
वो
this person
जब
does
उसको
get that
सफलता
feeling,
मिलती है
but because he is getting lot of praise from the other side, lot of wealth from his followers, so then he continues this kind of hypocritical life.
इसका एक शब्द है बगुला भगत,
So in Hindi, there is a word called Bagula
बगुला
Bhagat for this.
पक्षी होता है,
Bagula is
वो
a
क्या
bird,
करता है कि वो
and what the bird does is
तालाब में जाता है,
that bird goes to the
और
pond
एक
or the river,
हाथ में
and
दो
that
पंख
bird
ऊपर रख के
uh,
ऐसे
stands on one leg,
करके ऐसे शांत चित्त खड़ा रहेगा,
and
जैसे ही
that
पास
bird
में कोई मछली
stands
आई
with very peaceful mind,
उसको
and
देखते
the
ही
moment it sees a
पकड़ेगा
fish,
और जीवित
immediately in a split second that bird catches the
जो
fish and
मिथ्याचारी
just
देखने में
swallows
जो
it.
शांत लगता है
So when
वो
you see
शांत
that bird appears to be very peaceful.
तो
Its
मनुष्य
bird
भी
color
ऐसा
is also white
और बड़ा धार्मिक लगता है। ये ऐसा एक
appears
संकेत
very
है,
peaceful and religious.
धार्मिक है। लक्ष्मण जी भगवान राम लक्ष्मण को बोलते हैं पंपा सरोवर
There
पर
is a
जाने के
verse
लिए,
that Bhagwan Ram
बड़ी
tells to
शीघ्र
Lakshman when he went to Pampa
डेवलप हो
Sarovar.
जाएगा। लेकिन अब देखना
So
कैसे
Bhagwan
डेवलप
Ram
होता
told
है।
that see, he is appearing such a great
इस प्रकार
devotee,
लोग मछली पकड़ते हैं।
but you'll see how he catches the fish the moment he sees that.
तो
So this is how nowadays the hypocritical
बुद्धि का आधार ये
people
बनता
in
है
who are
कि
taking
वो
such status in the society,
दूसरों की
big
शरारत
status,
का पात्र
they
बनता है,
are
क्योंकि उसको
exploiting
पता
the
है कि मैं
followers.
गलत कर रहा हूँ, तो मैं
So this person knows that what I am doing is wrong. I had gone to some place nearby.
राधा रमन मंदिर गए थे हम, तो एक
I think we went to Radharaman temple. There was a sadhu,
एकादशी का दिन था, वो एक टांग पर खड़ा हुआ था,
and it was the day of Ekadashi, and the sadhu was standing on one leg, and there was a lot of following around him. There was a
सब
big
लोग
crowd.
उसको, तो अब
So
जो
because
प्रश्न
of those
आता है
people,
कि
he
जब
was
हमें
getting
एक टांग पर
dakshina.
खड़ा होना है
So
तो
that now the
हम किस
question
प्रकार में
is,
खड़े होते हैं,
if you have to stand on one
जब
leg, why
परिक्रमा
do
मार्ग
that
में
on
चल रहे हैं
Ekadashi day only, and why on the
तो
parikrama
आगे खड़े
path?
हो सकते हैं।
You can go on to your home
तो
and
ऐसे
stand like this in your home also.
आज से करीब
I
30-35
remember
साल पहले की
around
बात
30
है,
or 35 years back,
यहीं परिक्रमा मार्ग में
here on the parikrama
संत
path,
कॉलोनी के उधर,
near the
तो एक
Sant colony,
महाराज वहाँ खड़े होते थे,
there was a Maharaj there who
हाथ
used
आगे
to
करके
stand
ऐसे,
like this. So he got that name only, the Baba who stands. 24 hours he was standing only. So he got the name Khadeshwari Baba, the Baba who always stands.
पटला जो है वो बांधा हुआ था तो उस पे अपने हाथ रख लेते थे और उनके पैर ऐसे मोटे मोटे
So he had tied his hand and he had those, he was always standing.
था तो वहां से लोग गुजरते थे
So people who were walking around the Parikrama Marg, he was getting lot of donation from them and he made his ashram there itself.
तो जहाँ खड़े होते थे
Earlier there was no there was no Sant colony. So wherever they were standing, they made ashram there with all the donation. Then their followers were there. Then the followers started standing outside, his disciples, and that Baba, he was sitting inside watching television. So now there was Junior Khadeshwari Baba outside, standing continuously. So this is what Bhagavan is telling us, mithyachar. So his smaran in the mind is just about money, how much money I got, how many followers or disciples I got. So this is neither karma yoga nor gyan yoga, it is no yoga, it is only money yoga. This is all game of money only. So we should analyze this verse and see, does it apply on us? Are we also falling in this trap? Should not just apply this verse on others, because we all have such vrittis, such inclinations. Like we know there are these 4 defects which are explained in the Shastra. One defect of every human being is vipralipsa, the tendency of cheating. Lipsa is desire. And here Vipra does not mean Brahman, not the desire of Brahman, because you can give that meaning also. So here it means strong desire to cheat the other person. So we should avoid that, because you cannot cheat Bhagavan. That is impossible. You are actually cheating yourself only. Putana also came with such a desire to cheat Bhagavan. That Bhagavan's mercy was there, that is another point. But she had come as a mithyachari, as a hypocrite only, because her desire, her internal desire was to kill Bhagavan. That was different. She had come with the desire to kill Bhagavan, but externally how she had dressed herself. So this is demoniac mentality. Demonic mentality is what Bhagavan has enumerated in Gita, in that the first demoniac mentality quality is of dambha, that is mithyachar, hypocrisy. Dambha means to present ourselves as what we are not to others, to make an external show of something what we are not actually. So one who wants to become a sadhu, who is a sannyasi, who is in the renounced order, he should have absolutely zero hypocrisy, because this hypocrisy is completely opposed to what he should be. When Bhagavan enumerates the qualities of sadhus, the first quality he says is straightforwardness. That is from where do we get the word Arjun. Arjun is a tree also, and that tree stands completely erect, straight. So sadhu is one who should have one line in what he thinks, what he speaks, what he does. What he thinks, what he speaks, and what he does should be absolutely same. That is sadhu. There should be complete uniformity in all the three for a sadhu. And those who are hypocrites, those who are evil-minded, those who are cheaters, those who are hypocrites, they do one thing, they say something else, they speak something else. All three are different. So we cannot achieve Bhagavan like this. Bhagavan's name is Satya. Bhagavan is Satya Vrat. Bhagavan's name is Satya, truth. So spiritual path is a path of truthfulness. My Guru Maharaj always used to make this point. He used to place immense emphasis on this point, that Prabhu work truthfully. always work truthfully. And he used to tell me that teach people to speak the truth. So many times he told me, teach these people to speak the truth. Teach these people to become truthful. Because we want to achieve Bhagavan, then why should we cheat anybody? That means we do not have Shraddha in Bhagavan. Because if we actually have Shraddha in Bhagavan, then why shall we cheat anybody? And before cheating anybody else, we are cheating ourselves only. So if we are cheating ourselves, then to whom do we belong? That is why it is very important to understand this. What happens in Vrindavan, I have seen that during rainy season, then in village, there is no agriculture during that time. In April, May, the harvesting already happens. So in this rainy season, the clever people from village, they come to Vrindavan and they change their dress and they wear saffron. They show themselves as sadhus, stay in some ashram, and these bhandaras go on. There is nice food. So 3 or 4 months they stay here. So they got their Vrajavas also. They made lot of money also. And they don't have to do anything else. And when this time period is over, when there is September, October, they leave Vrindavan, go back to their home, they change their dress again. So this is called hypocrisy, mithyachar. So externally, they change themselves, but internally, they are always immersed in thoughts of their family only. And here the word sanyam here means they have actually not done sanyam, they are just suppressing it. If they can actually regulate their senses, that is great. But in reality, there is no regulation of senses. It is just a suppression. They are simply suppressing their desires forcefully. Internally, all sense enjoyment is going on. And wherever they go, they keep discussing about those talks only. They have nothing to do actually with spirituality. And the other thing, in this verse, there is mention of karmendriya. Here, it is not just karmendriya, it refers to gyanendriyas, the knowledge acquiring senses also. Because considering them together only, there is hypocrisy. So here karmendriya refers to gyanendriyas or knowledge acquiring senses also. Here karmendriyas just refers to external senses. So suppressing them, but internally always being immersed in thoughts of the Vishaya, sense objects. Should not be like this. Those who behave like this, they are actually destroying their own life. There is no question of any spiritual progress for one who is like this. So we'll stop here for today, and if you have any question, you can ask.
नवद्वीप जी का प्रश्न है
Question:
कि मेरे अंतर संघर्ष के चलते हुए
given my ongoing inner struggle, how can I discern whether I genuinely possess the qualification or adhikar to practice bhakti? Does this struggle indicate that I should redirect my focus to another practice? So this what you are eligible for, this is your own desire. If you have the knowledge and you understand that whatever you will achieve in this world is temporary and its ultimate result is only misery, and you have Shraddha in this path, then you are eligible. And if you do not have Shraddha in this path, then you are not eligible. So this is something you yourself have to introspect. Next question: is it not natural for someone to expect results as the motivation behind their work? How then is it possible for a person to engage in work without expecting any results? So answer: when did I say that you work without desiring any result? Did I speak that you should work without desiring result?
मैंने तो नहीं कहा बात
I never said that you should work without desiring any result. I was focusing on the point of attachment. Should work without attachment, not that you don't have any desire for result. If you do any work, there will be result. Even if a machine is doing something, there will be some result. That is obvious. Every action has got a result.
बात आसक्ति की है
The point is about giving up attachment.
बंधन जो है वो क्रिया नहीं है यही तो भगवान बता रहे हैं और क्या बता
That is what Bhagavan is explaining. The action is not bondage. The bondage is the attachment to the action and the attachment to the result of the action. You may even have attachment to not doing action.
माते संगोस्तु अकर्मणि तुम्हारा संग जो है वो अकर्म में ना हो उसमें भी आ सकता
You should not have attachment for inaction also.
समस्या आ सकती है
The whole problem is of attachment.
नवीन जी कृपया अपना प्रश्न पूछें।
बाबा जी ये अंतःकरण क्या है वो समझा नहीं।
Question: what is the meaning of antakaran?
अंतकरण माने मन चित्त बुद्धि अहंकार इसी को अंतकरण बोलते हैं
So answer: man, chitta, buddhi, ahankar. These together are called antakaran. Like there are external senses, antakaran refers to the internal senses.
मतलब जिनसे आप ज्ञानेंद्रियां जिनसे आपके
Indriya is the senses, Gyanendriya, by which you get action, by which you get knowledge of taste,
होती है ना
of touch. So internal senses are there. You experience happiness, distress. So this is antakaran.
सूक्ष्म शरीर को अंतःकरण बोलते हैं, इसका मतलब
सूक्ष्म
So can we say that entire subtle body is antakaran? Answer: no. Subtle body has lot of other things. There is prana also.
में चार आते हैं
Antakaran has these four: man, buddhi, chitta and ahankar. These four constitute antakaran.
ठीक है और
डीएलडी जी कृपया अपना प्रश्न पूछें।
Radhe Radhe Maharaj, thank you for a wonderful class. Kriya Shakti is in everyone, and it's not possible to perform or stop performing action. So my question is on the sannyas marga and the varnashram, we understand that, the nivritti marg, people have accepted it. And a real sadhu is always engaged in action. It doesn't matter which ashram. So then why would anyone take Vesh Dharan? Why did Mahaprabhu create Vesh or our version of sannyas? And what is the adhikar for that?
सो उसका हिंदी में अनुवाद करके बोलें क्या तो पूछ रहे हैं कि जब सन्यास निवृत्ति
So
मार्ग
the
है
question is, if that sannyas is nivritti, the path of nivritti, and anyway we have to perform action, then why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this system of Vesh? Why is there is sannyas? So answer: so pravritti is there by sannyasi also. Even a sannyasi cannot live without action, but he works for the society, for Bhagavan.
जो कर्मयोगी है उसका परिवार होगा
The karma yogi will have a family.
उत्तरदायित्व
He will have family responsibilities.
उसका भी उसको ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा
So he has to take care of that also. But the sannyasi is free from all such family the family responsibilities. He is free of that.
तो फिर वो अपनी पूरी शक्ति क्रिया
So
शक्ति
then
ज्ञान शक्ति
he engages his entire energy of knowledge, of action in the service of Bhagavan. Then that is called sannyas. In Gita also Bhagavan will say that even a sannyasi,
कार्य में
he cannot give up yagya, dana, tapa,
ये सन्यासी
should not give it up.
Now, is this hypocrisy directly or indirectly addressed
Question.
to Arjuna himself at this stage of the Gita? Because
Yes, it is addressed to him. ये hypocrisy जो मिथ्याचार की बात है वो भगवान कह रहे हैं कि क्या ये अर्जुन के लिए
Question: is this hypocrisy being addressed to Arjun? Yes, Bhagavan is addressing to him only, because Arjun is a Kshatriya. He should fight. That is his nature.
क्या ऐसा
He will tell later also
कि तुम्हारा ये निश्चय कि मैं युद्ध नहीं करूंगा ये मिथ्या
that your determination to not fight is mithya. It is false.
बोल रहे हैं
yes, but he's trying to cover that he doesn't want to fight, but he's not truthful to himself, right? But he's not trying to deceive others. but rather he is identified with this duplicity
So
in
he is
his
deceiving
behavior.
himself.
So to put it simple, is there a distinction between lying to others and lying to oneself?
Yes.
आपने चिंतन के विषय में बताया तो नवदा भक्ति में
Question,
जो
you spoke of Chintan, Smaran. So in the Navada Bhakti, there is Smaran. So how do we understand that? Answer, yes, Smaran is an Anga of Bhakti.
उसका भी तो असर पड़ता है ना। यही तो भगवान बोल रहे हैं कि आपने बाहर की इंद्रियों को तो रोक
That's
लिया,
what Bhagavan is telling, that you have restrained the external senses, but internally you are thinking about sense objects only.
और उसका संस्कार गलत संस्कार
So it will lead to wrong impressions in the chitta.
स्मरण करते हैं तो उसका अच्छा
Similarly, if you are doing Leela Smaran, it will lead to good impressions in the chitta.
अच्युतानंद जी का प्रश्न है कि यदि
Next question,
क्रियाएं
if the actions are performed by the gunas, how come we find
संसार में अनंत क्रियाएं पाई जाती हैं,
infinite actions and reactions manifested in the world?
प्रतिक्रियाएं
How
कैसे प्रकट होती
does this difference manifest if not for will of different personalities?
समझ नहीं आया मेरे को प्रश्न क्या है, किसका प्रश्न है,
अच्युतानंद जी का?
क्या प्रश्न क्या है, स्पष्ट नहीं। Restate your question. It's not clear what you are asking. अनंत क्रियाएं हैं फिर क्या तो क्या हुआ अनंत क्रियाएं तो?
मैं इंग्लिश में ट्राई करती हूँ. इफ द एक्शंस आर परफॉर्म्ड बाय द गुनास, हाउ कम वी फाइंड इनफाइनाइट एक्शंस एंड रिएक्शंस मैनिफेस्टेड इन द वर्ल्ड? हाउ दिस डिफरेंसेस मैनिफेस्ट इफ नॉट फॉर विल ऑफ डिफरेंट पर्सनैलिटीज?
तो अभी ठीक है ना, तो प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं कि अगर ये गुण के कारण ही ये अनेक क्रियाएं होती हैं तो उसमें
So if these actions happen due to gunas only,
ये
why there are infinite
तो गुण तो
actions?
कैसे हैं?
तो गुण तो उनका जो मिलन होता है, मेल होता है,
So the mixing of the gunas,
उसकी कोई लिमिट सीमा नहीं
it
है,
has no limit.
से उनका मेल हो सकता
It can, how, in what proportions it can mix, there is no limit to that.
है, उसकी कोई सीमा नहीं है।
It has no limit. How, in what proportions they will mix together. Somebody may have 1% sattva or some percent of this or that. So that permutation combination will be unlimited.
अनेक प्रकार की क्रियाएं होती हैं।
So like that, there are unlimited actions.
पूछ रहा है कि अगर वो will से
Now one who is doing, if the difference is due to will or the guna. So my question is, can you define what is will? What do you mean by will?
बताइए,
Where is will situated?
विल आत्मा में होती है कि मन में होती है कि बुद्धि में होती है?
Where
कहाँ
is
पे
the
होती
will? Is it in the mind or the buddhi or the atma? Where is will situated?
है? विल तो एक गुण है ना।
Will is also a guna.
अरे जिनसे पूछ रहा हूँ वो बताए ना, उनका क्या विचार है?
So my question is to the one who is asking this question.
का अधिकरण क्या है? Where is will lodged? What is its substratum? So anyway, if you don't have the answer, wherever it is lodged, जहाँ पर भी इनका अधिकरण है,
Wherever will is situated, there it will have guna. If there is desire in the mind, everybody knows desire is in the mind. So mind will have three gunas. There will be sattva, rajas, tamas, and three does not mean only three. And the gunas will influence him or no. And then according to the desire, there will be action. When it is said that it is happening by guna, that means guna is leading to desire, and by desire there is action. The desire is in the mind, and in the mind there is guna.
यूट्यूब पर एक प्रश्न है, कुछ लोग गलत कार्य करते हैं और जब वो
Question, some people who perform wrong action, and when they cannot face the consequences of their wrong actions, they commit suicide. So why do they perform such action? When they know what will be the consequence. So answer, what happens is they are unable to tolerate the consequence of their action. That's why they try to find a easy solution which they think is to give up their life. Like say a sannyasi, he did something wrong, so the result will be he will be criticized in the society, and he will not be able to tolerate that criticism. So then he thinks that let me commit suicide.
प्रश्न है, आपने बताया कि जब करते
Next
समय मन
question.
विशेष क्रियाशील बनता है.
You said that during japa, mind especially becomes very active. So how can we control that? Answer, continue performing your japa. Slowly sattva gun will arise in the mind and it will slow
दूसरा
down.
प्रश्न है, क्या आप कृपया
Next question.
निष्काम कर्म, कर्म योग और भक्ति योग के बीच अंतर समझा सकते हैं?
Can you explain the difference between Nishkam Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga? Answer, Nishkam Karma Yoga means you perform your duty without the desire, without the attachment to doership, to the result of the action. Same action, if you perform for the pleasure of Bhagavan, there obviously you don't have any desire for any fruit, because your desire is to please Guru Bhagavan. After taking their shelter, when you perform actions for their pleasure, that is Bhakti Yoga. So in Bhakti Yoga, first you take Sharanagati, you surrender, and once you have surrendered, then you are not independent, because now after Sharanagati, whatever actions you perform, it is for them. In Karma Yoga, you are not surrendered. You perform karma and you surrender the result of the karma. Those who do not accept Ishwar, they just do their duty. Those who accept Ishwar, they offer the result to Bhagavan. But in any case, in both of them, you are just doing your duty and not surrendered to Bhagavan, which is there in Bhakti Yoga. You are surrendered to Bhagavan first.
प्रार्थना श्लोक. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपाल नंदनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्. एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव. एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा. कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः. यच्छ्रेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्. यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांघ्रये. भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो. नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपाप प्रणाशनम् प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम्। हरि ओम तत्सत्।